These postcards are pictures of a train wreck that happened in 1923 that unalived 31 people. This train wreck to this day is still the largest casualty count of any train wreck in the state of Wyoming. The Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy train was southbound from Casper to Denver and held 66 primarily oil field workers when at 9:15 p.m. it plunged off of a washed-out bridge running over Coal Creek. It nosedived into the creek, carrying 6 of the 8 cars into the creek along with it and costing 31 people their lives. A flagman jumped off the rear of the train and ran 4 miles to the nearest way station in order to phone it in and report to authorities so that a rescue train could arrive, which arrived approximately 11 o'clock that evening. The scene they arrived to was described as horrific. They could hear nothing but screams and moans from the creek, while continued flooding and raining hampered the rescue efforts. Approximately half of the passengers survived, including one pregnant woman who delivered a baby the very next day in Salina, Colorado. Some bodies were not recovered for years, with the last one being found in the 1950s, and one of the mail bags actually wasn't recovered until 4 years after the crash. Now, it may seem grisly to us at this late point in time, but postcards like this that depicted disasters were very common during the 1920s because this is just prior to the time that newspapers started to be able to print pictures along with their stories. Prior to this, you had to have an engraving done of an image in order for it to be reproduced inside of a newspaper. Some other examples I have are these right here from 1924, which depicts men fighting an oil field fire when an actual oil well went up in flames and they were using these very primitive carts in order to spray foam over the top of it. This one right here depicts the aftermath of a fire in Buffalo, Wyoming, somewhere in the teens. Postcards like this can be found for most natural disasters that occurred during this time period and are generally going to be more valuable than other postcards, and they're a good thing to take a look out for. I would expect any disaster-related postcard like this that doesn't have a significant run to be somewhere in the range of $50 to $100 and definitely worth looking out for.